Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I can't never get this right. I'm Chris the Dumb One, and I am back with another video. We're gonna get into this real fast and real quick. I think that's gonna be as good as it's gonna get. You know what you gotta do: rate, comment, subscribe. Normally, when the Cleveland Cavaliers lose, everybody immediately start with these uploads. What's going on with Cleveland? LeBron James is struggling. LeBron James, the turnover machine, this, that, and the third. And I've been noticing on YouTube, when the Cleveland Cavaliers or LeBron James win, nobody wants to talk about it. So you got to accept the good with the bad, and that's pretty much what this stream is going to be about. It's going to be about LeBron James, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and last night's game. Now, LeBron James, despite what people may think, well, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for that matter, they've been doing pretty good. I mean, out of the two games that they played, they're doing fairly decent, okay? And I don't think a lot of people give them that much credit. I mean, if you really study the art of basketball, you would see, even though they lost a previous game, you could tell that they're starting to get everything back to form. The chemistry is starting to be more solid and more glued and more cohesive. When you're talking about the players, now the players have played like 10 or more games with themselves, as well as practice. I felt like, if anything, I feel like that Halloween bash, even though when you look at it as an entertainment level, yeah, that was good to, to blow off steam, and the players had fun. But I felt like that Halloween party, and all of them was there, that kind of when you translate that to the court, that kind of stumbled them a little bit, okay? But overall, when you look at everything, particularly the past 3 games, a few of them games, I mean, well, one of them games they lost, okay? They're doing a lot better. Defense is not there. Team defense, they need a little bit working on. But when you talk about the individual parts of the Cleveland Cavaliers, everybody's getting their shine on, okay? Kevin Love, even though it was one game, he figured out a way to contribute on the offensive side of things. Even though it was one game, he can always look back to that one game and go, well, look, well, hey, I got 30 so points like back when I was with the Minnesota Timberwolves with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I can probably duplicate this again. I'm going to have to just leave it like that. And it keeps falling down. And when you look at Kyle Korver cut up last night. That was the biggest offensive, as far as Kyle Korver goes, that's the biggest I have ever seen him with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He had shine. He had a few occasions like that last year, but this year, when they needed him the most, he stepped up. As well as the fact they was down by 23, and they came back and won the game. That one game with the Knicks, by the way, that one game pays off a lot for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That one game could be like their placebo, okay? It will have a placebo effect to it, okay? Yeah, it was the New York Knicks, okay? Yeah, I can agree with, if somebody says, well, Chris, it was the New York Knicks. What did you expect? They're cellar dwellers. It's clearly obvious that they're looking in the draft. They're not really trying to win games, okay? Yeah, I understand all of that, but it is what it is. You know, you have to look at it as what does this, how does this help or hinder the Cleveland Cavaliers? I feel like that one game, I don't think they're going to start winning, having 11-game winning streak like the Boston Celtics, but I feel like that one game, as well as the game before, that really added a lot to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And do not be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers start winning more than losing. Now, there are issues with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They don't really care too much about defense. Okay, I feel like defense is an emotion. You either have it or you don't. You can't teach defense. You can teach team defense, but if you don't have a defensive mindset, then you're not going to bother. That's why James Harden, he's a great player, and when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he did utilize defense there as well as team defense. However, with his own team, the Houston Rockets, and they're not really enforcing him to work hard on the defensive end. And with a coach like Mike D'Antoni, he's not going to ever put a lot of effort in defense. I think defense is an emotion, it's effort. You either want it or you don't. Okay, you either have it or you don't. If you don't have that type of mentality in you, then it really doesn't matter if you practice defense all day, every day, 365. Or coach emphasizes it a lot. Eventually, players go back to the way they normally play. And if they wasn't thinking about defense then, sooner rather than later, they're going to do that again. They're going to have that same type of mentality in the next game. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have been working with the lineup. They've been trying to figure out what works, what don't work. Okay, they have a lot of injuries on that squad, but they have older veteran players. And when you have a lot of injuries with veteran players, that's not a good recipe for a good team. Okay, Dwayne Wade is feeling some nags. I mean, some nicks along the way because he's an older player. Derrick Rose is injured, but he was always an injury-prone player. Tristan Thompson, he injured himself last week, and it's going to be a while till we get him back into the fold again. And when you have those individuals struggling through nagging injuries or out, and they can't play or contribute, that kind of hurts the chemistry, particularly if you're depending on these players on your starting lineup. To me, I think their better lineup was with Tristan Thompson and Green in the fold of things. I feel like they should start involving them in the starting lineup, because there are two players that really care about defense. Okay, you're going to have to hide J.R. Smith if you want to continue to let him be a starting shooting guard. Okay, so you're going to have to hide him, and the only way you're going to hide him is put your best defensive version squad on the court. Okay, LeBron can play defense. Tristan Thompson is known to play defense. He can lock down the middle. Green can play, can have some team defense, and that can infect other players in saying, well, hey, look, if Green is playing team defense and he's on defense all the time, then I should step up my defensive game. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the reason why they have the record is not because they can't score, it's because they can't stop the other team from scoring. Okay, it's not, it is just that simple. They're allowing cellar dweller teams to stay in the game. Okay, and in many of those occasions, those cellar-dwelling teams have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, yes, you can go back and say and harbor to the fact that, well, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the New York Knicks. You know, they should have beaten the New York Knicks. Why anyone thought that the Cleveland Cavaliers wasn't going to be able to beat the New York Knicks? And to that I say this, I feel like, you know, I feel like as far as that game goes, that only builds more character with the team that you have. Okay, I feel like when I watched the game last night, I saw flashes of this squad carrying more on the defensive end, particularly in the fourth quarter. Okay, I feel like Coach Lue is finally gotten these players to understand that, yeah, we can score a lot of points, but that's not the issue of our squad. The issue with our squad is we can't play defense because we're not trying to involve ourselves in defense. And like I said earlier in this live stream, defense is you gotta have you gotta want to do defense. Okay, you have to have a want for defense. It is just that simple. Okay, so the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you look at the past couple of games, they have been improving with their chemistry, and they have, on occasion, not in a full game, they have, you know, involved themselves on the defensive side of things. And like I said earlier, the Cleveland Cavaliers, their problem is not scoring. Their problem is defense. And I think with these past couple of games, now Coach Lue has tape to show to the players that, hey, yo, look, when we really care about doing defense, look what happens. Look what transpires. Look how we start beginning to win games that we normally would have lost a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I felt like as far as LeBron James go, when he played against the Dallas Mavericks, and then he made the comments talking about the player the Knicks should have drafted is with the Dallas Mavericks, and the Knicks should have drafted this player immediately. And when he played last night, a lot of Knicks players was not fond of what LeBron James said. I felt like that's a tactic that has been used over the course of NBA history as a whole. A lot of older veteran superstars would throw a barb here and there in the press about the team that they're going to play the next night. Okay, and I mean, I seen Michael Jordan do this in his prime, as well as you know, Michael Jordan would play these mind games with you. And I think LeBron James I think LeBron James is going, I think he wants to play mind games with other teams, get them off focus and off track. Therefore, they're not thinking about the game. Okay, but with the New York Knicks, I don't think you have to play mind games with the New York Knicks. Okay, the New York Knicks really are not trying to win games. Okay, they want to be in the NBA draft and pick a high pick. Okay, and you can't get a high pick. You can't get enough ping pongs if you're winning games. Okay, and the squad that they have, an average team should have no problem with the New York Knicks. Okay, just saying. All right, Kristaps Porzingis, he's an animal, but that's pretty much all the New York Knicks have. Okay, so yeah, it's one of those types of things. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait and see on it. I don't, you know, I don't see anybody wanting to Well, I don't see, when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers schedule, they have a couple of games where they can put things together and they can put their own streak. Like I said earlier in the stream, do not be surprised. I'm not saying that the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to win 11 games, but I feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers should string some wins along the way and improve this roster. Okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Kristaps 1, and I am out.